Good morning, students. Today we will discuss the first come first serve scheduling algorithms. Solved problem. We will see a solved problem based on first come first serve scheduling algorithm. As you can see here we have 5 processes whose arrival time and burst time is given. The process P1 arrives at 4 unit time and the burst time of this process is 5 units of time. Process P2 comes at 6 unit of time and the burst time is 4 units of time. P3 comes at 0th unit of time and the burst time of this is 3 units of time, and so on. Here we need to calculate the average waiting time and average turnaround time using the FCFS scheduling algorithm. Now for this we need to create a Gantt chart. With the help of this table we can observe the things like the arrival time of process P3 is 0, means at 0th unit of time, means first of all process P3 arrives. So CPU is allocated to process P3 and the burst time of P3 is 3 units of time. So CPU is allocated to process P3 for 3 units of time, right? After that, at 4th unit of time, process P1 arrives. So as you can see here that from 3 to 4 units of time, the CPU is ideal. Means no process is available for the CPU to be executed. At 4th unit of time, process P1 arrives and the burst time of P1 is 5 units. So started from the 4th unit, the process P1 executes for another 5 units of time. So it completes at 9th unit of time. But while the process P1 is being executed, at 5th unit of time, process P5 comes. Now because the first come first serve algorithm is preemptive. Sorry, it's non-preemptive. Means the CPU is executing some particular process, then it will keep on executing that particular process only. It will not change the process, right? So at 5th unit of time, when process P5 comes, then process P5 waits for the CPU, and when the CPU completes the execution of P1, then the CPU is allocated to the P5. Now as you can see here that the burst time of process P5 is 4 units of time. So the CPU is allocated to process P5 from 9th unit of time to 13th unit of time. After that, at 6th unit of time, process P2 and P4 arrives. Now here we take some means what we consider that P1 comes before P2 comes before P4, because P2 is the lesser number than the 4. Then we take P2 first and after that P4. So we consider that the P2 comes first. So P2 is allocated, CPU is allocated to P2 at 13th amount of time, and as you can see here that the burst time for P2 is 4 units of time. So the execution of P2 is completed by 17th unit of time. And similarly, the execution of P4 is completed by 19th unit of times. Right? So we have created the Gantt chart. Now we need to calculate the average waiting time and the average turnaround time. Now the formula for turnaround time is completion time minus arrival time. And the formula for waiting time is turnaround time minus burst time. Right? So we need to calculate these two quantities. Here we have given this table in which we have process IDs P1 to P5, completion time, turnaround time, and the waiting time. Completion time is calculated with the help of Gantt chart. As you can see here, that the process P1 means the execution of P1 is completed by 9th unit of time. Means after 9 units of time, the execution of P1 is completed. Okay. Similarly, the completion time of P2 is 17 units of time. The completion time of P3 is 3 units of time. The completion time of P4 is 19th unit of time. And finally, the completion time of P5 is 13 units of time. Right? Now the formula for turnaround time is completion time minus arrival time, and arrival time is given in this table. P1 comes at 4th unit of time, P2 comes at 6th unit of time, and so on. So turnaround time is calculated using the formula completion time. 9 is the completion time minus arrival time. Right? So completion time we have calculated from the Gantt chart, and the arrival time we have this in this table. The arrival time is given already. So the turnaround time is 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. Similarly for P2, the completion time is 17 and the arrival time is 6. So the turnaround time is 11. For P3, the completion time is 3. The arrival time is 0. So the turnaround time will be 3, and so on. Similarly, using this formula, we can calculate the waiting time. So the formula for waiting time is turnaround time minus burst time. As we have calculated the turnaround time, and the burst time is given in this table. So what we need to do is just put the values in this formula and calculate the waiting time. As you can see here, that the turnaround time for P1 is this 5, and the burst time is also 5, this. So the waiting time will be 5 minus 5 is 0. For P2, the turnaround time is 11 and the burst time is 4. So the waiting time will be 11 minus 4 is equal to 7, and so on. Now we need to calculate the average turnaround time and average waiting time. So simply take the average of these terms. So by putting these values in this formula, we need to add all the values and divide it by 5. So we get this average turnaround time, which is 8 units. And similarly we have this average waiting time, which is 4.4 units of time. Okay, so I think this problem is clear to everyone. In the next lecture, we will discuss shortest job first. So, thank you so much.